I realize you've been through a lot with that man, but he does not have your new phone's information. Okay?
I'm just not
So,
really being heard. Why do
it,
you think that I would have just called the police? What I informed you is that all my devices are being hacked. And you said that I have a new phone, and I don't remember telling you I had the new phone, but you said that you thought I had a new phone several, when I was at Mid Coast. So,
right,
but
that's
I'm
what
calling the
I was
police.
thinking of
But I,
referring to. I didn't know about your new phone that you were setting up today.
but nonetheless, yeah,
Or
all the devices I'm not really being heard or hacked. And then you saw the death threats, and then you know that April's phone was hacked, and then I informed you that somebody else's phone in this new environment is hacked.
what did they tell you about the death threat?
They didn't do anything. That's what I was reporting to you, and you when you were calling, that I was trying to talk to the police about it, and they just really haven't been very. I really just haven't had a lot accomplished.
Okay.
A lot of people have been. What am I blocking them from?
From contacting you so that he can't email you or text you anymore. Um,
That's what a lot of people have been recommending, but I just don't understand where the disconnect is. If he's hacking my device, how I can block him. You're not the only one that their recommendation was to block him from hacking my device. If there was an opportunity for me to block someone from hacking my device, I would. But I don't know how it's
okay.
possible to block someone from hacking your device.
Okay, because it'll
The lady
give.
from church said the same thing. She said, "Can you block them?" When I said I was getting the death threats, she recommended that I block them. One recommended me getting pads to help, feminine hygiene products. And then they said, I'm telling them I'm thinking about fleeing the country. They said that they wanted to pray for me to have peace, and then said something about paranoia, like April said. But then she saw everything for herself. And then you saw the death threats. You saw how, I was being treated there at Mid Coast. So I'm just really not understanding, the disconnect. And so many people recommend that I block them. I don't know how to block someone from hacking your device and sending you death threats.
Okay. Okay. You forget about the block or the hacking. Okay. What you're doing when you block someone is you're going to be able to block any communications coming from
Well, that's
that.
not the biggest concern if I can't use my device. And, I got one just the other day, and I'm being robbed of the
Okay.
ability to use my device. I just,
Okay.
you know,
Okay. I'm giving you the solution. Okay. I'm trying. All right. And it is what other people have said. Now, when you block someone, you're going to block his phone number, and that will keep any communications from that number coming to your phone. So he's not going to be able to use his phone and hack into your phone or anything because you're going to have his information. It's going to block it.
you
And
don't
you
think you're
do the
not
same.
concerned? You remember April saying her phone was hacked and all the things that were going on? I think that that's kind of distracting for something
Okay.
serious.
It it has nothing to do with you because there was something going on between with April. She included me in a group. Um, I don't know, group texting or something.
I'm speaking of when she
Without
told you
my
she communicated with you and with her when I was present, and she said her device was hacked, and then also that each time that we talked about this mail, how my device would glitch and I couldn't use it. Did you forget about that?
okay, look,
You don't want to talk about. I mean, that's serious. If someone, did you remember the when I told you that
okay,
someone invited me out for a
okay.
drink?
I'm trying to tell you something
No,
here.
did you
It's
forget? I just wanted to know.
April's phone. All right.
No, hold on,
Um,
hold on, hold
the
on. I just
last.
wanted to get clarity before. Okay, do you remember when April said that she witnessed whenever we talked about this mill, my phone the software would go off? You don't remember that?
I do remember
Okay.
April saying that
Oh,
her phone was hacked.
Do you remember
Um,
that when she said that my phone was hacked, each time that we talked about this mill, my device would be wiped out and I couldn't use it? You don't remember that?
I know that I remember you had issues with your phone.
Okay, well, each time that
Um,
we talked about this mill, I don't know how you could forget that my device, I went to show it to shelter staff, but they wouldn't look at it. Do you remember how I showed you the death threat that said that when I told you that someone invited me out for a drink and I told them I didn't drink, and you said that I needed to call the authorities, that when you saw the death
right,
threat, if I had a drink, that it would be my last?
right. I remember that.
Okay, so
Oh,
then do you
oh
remember
yeah.
how April said multiple different times that my device, she reported that what I'm saying is true, that her device also glitched? Do you remember that?
Okay. All right. I'm telling you
I mean, do you
that
remember? I don't know why you don't want to talk about it.
okay,
Do you remember when she said her device was glitching?
okay, I don't remember a lot of things.
Okay.
Okay, I just remember that you had issues with your phone. April claimed to have issues with her phone, and I know April had issues with her phone because after I was here and I had tried to call April, April had
So you call April, and it was that the man that my device would glitch. You call April, and it called someone else.
and it called someone else,
That
and he
happened
called me
here.
back.
That happened
He
here.
called me back.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He called me back, and you all talked about this man there at Christ Kitchen, the preacher or the reverend.
Yes.
Okay, he called me.
So
He called me
here
back.
is the same thing that happened with April's device, and then I could not talk. It kept putting us on hold where we couldn't speak. In two parties, I tried to call. The same thing happened on another device.
But
Me and this
see,
other
April did
hold
this.
on. Me and this other lady tried to call each other, and it called someone else. So I know you're telling the truth. And she said I have her on the phone, and now this lady won't talk to me on the phone. Period. She won't call each time she wants to communicate. She'll come to me personally. She won't answer my calls or talk to me. So I know you're being honest. And
Well, yeah,
she's
of
trying to
course.
tell the police. So if that's going on, that's pretty serious. That I report that to the police, and it's been impossible.
Okay, but April did this. April caused it to where I had, because she included my number in this private.
Well, I don't know if she
I
actually did it. You need to talk to her because you remember that she said the other man said that some posted our videos when we went to the beach, and then she said her device was glitching and acting weird. He said that he didn't want anybody with it near his phone because remember when those pictures got posted to his YouTube? You remember her
I
telling us?
don't know.
You don't remember that?
No,
Oh, okay. Well,
no.
she said she was kind of shook up about it and he was upset. She said that some kind of way pictures that he took of us that I didn't even know existed that he took was posted to his Facebook, and he didn't do it, and he thought I did it. So all these people around me, their devices are glitching, and then my devices are glitching, and then in this new environment, you got to prove something like this is happening. That's why I call the police. And in this new environment, the same thing happens, and armies full of people just want me to keep. The lady at the church, when I told her all this mysterious thing, she said block him from calling your phone, and I'm like, how do you block death threats? How do you block someone from hacking your phone? And then they won't pray that my abuse ends and keeps on in their sermons talking about schizophrenia. So it's just a bizarre thing, and then it's just peculiar in all my environments, and I just didn't really know how to combat it. So that's why I was calling the police. And I experienced all kind of other weird things, and everybody's recommendation is just to block him, you know. But I mean, I don't know, I don't understand why so many people have a thought process of blocking someone from hacking your device. How do they think that that's possible?
That is possible. That's what you're doing. When you block someone, you block communication. If they're texting you, it
Yeah,
blocks
but
that
that's
text.
not. I
Or
mean, the
calling
army's
you.
full of people.
Or
I mean, that's really doesn't. If someone is hacking your device illegally, Blocking them really doesn't make sense, but that's what so many people's recommendation: pads, tampons to flee abuse. I just don't understand, the how things are misconstrued, because if someone's illegally monitoring me and hacking my device, it's impossible to block them. But that's a solution that armies full of people recommend.
Exactly.
It's
So
just bizarre to me,
you
because if someone is
you should
being illegally
try it.
monitored, I
See, what
can't.
do you
It's
have to
impossible.
lose to try it?
It's impossible. If someone is hacking April's phone and armies full of other people I associate with phone, and then they don't communicate with me, and then people are calling you when all this weird things, everybody in my circle, how there's I would have blocked them a long time ago if I could. I can't. I'm just confused on why so many parties think it's possible.
Okay. Well, um, that is the normal protocol, is to just simply block them. Um, and he's not going to have. Now you have another new phone.
Yeah, that's already hacked. That I
Um,
communicated with you that it's already hacked and giving me problems the same day. And then you recommended that I block him because I've been hacked. My devices, he's illegally monitoring them. I informed you that I couldn't use the Bible app and all kind of other chaos. And then you recommended that I block
right,
him.
and that could be you're in a spotty internet
That's not what it's
area.
saying. That's not what it's saying. It's saying that it's glitching, and I've used the Bible. I communicated with you that I've been using the Bible app for an extended amount of time. Years is very important to me, and it's saying
Well,
that
yeah,
the
I
chapter of the Bible is not enlisted in the King James Bible. It's saying that in the Bible, it has the with the devotional, it has Bible study, and it's glitching and saying the Bible study, the Bible that I have does not have that chapter of the Bible in it. I've never seen it all these years. So it's saying that download failed and it won't update. But I've been doing the devotional, and I've
well,
had glitches years. It's just someone that don't want me to do things that are important to me, and that he caused a glitch in the Bible app where I can't use it permanently. It would glitch and malfunction. I just don't really think people believe my experiences. I know they're not realistic. So then, even like I said, April didn't believe me, and other armies full of people don't believe my devices are hacked until they get around me. And then a lot of people start acting peculiar and start covering for things. Nonetheless, so um, with the Bible app, I know it's hacked, and I know my devices are hacked, but I'm just not quite certain on what to do. It's not up for debate. It's too many people. Devices are glitching around me in my circle, and if someone's not only breaking into my device, they're breaking into other people's device. What else are they doing behind the scenes? What are they else? If someone's mentally ill is doing this, could you be mentally ill enough to enlist people to be accomplices and conspirators in mind games, cover up, and abuse? Monitor my phone and enlist people in my environments to be in cahoots with all of this insanity and cover for your crimes? A person that's mentally ill could think of something like that. But could he really pull that off to have people in my environments be in cahoots with insanity?
well, I solved my problem by past. It that was all coming from April's phone.
But April's phone is hacked. That's what don't you remember when we talked to the police?
I remember that y'all, um, you were going to talk with the police, and um, I never knew what came of that.
Oh, I thought we told
Um,
you. I thought she told you it freaked her out that the police department covered for it and ran our names. I thought she already told you. Yeah, the police department. She asked to.
no,
She got freaked out and then asked to leave because the police department was intimidating her and running her names. I told you that Mid Coast was depriving me of assistance after talking to the police. He wanted to exclude me from the conversation about me. And you saw how April was acting. She also told people I was an FBI agent because I told her that the police department would cover for the crimes. She didn't realize that it was so much commotion around me, and she was telling other parties that I told you that she thought I was an FBI agent. And I was like, if I'm an FBI agent, why would I be at a homeless shelter?
Right.
Yeah, but she just
Well,
didn't fathom that so many police departments would try to cover for this man, and then she witnessed it. She didn't really believe that someone could hack on my device and could cause all this damage until she saw it for herself. And then she wanted to be a witness, and then it freaked her out how the police department was responding with towards someone that was sending me death threats, starting arguments with me. But it repeatedly kept happening for years. Not only do the police department, churches have done it. When I'm begging for assistance, like I don't understand how someone, if you tell them your life is in jeopardy, how their best advice is, do you want pads for your cycle? Why do
oh my
armies full of
God.
people recommend that I block my device from him breaking into it illegally?
Just
Common
block
sense would
him.
mean that I mean, I'm not trying to judge
Block
anyone.
that blocks his device from contacting your device. It blocks his number or his email. Anything coming from his IP address cannot come to
That's
yours.
not what I'm reporting. The
It's a
army's full of people, though. For them to come to that conclusion, they did that at Midcoast. If I'm reporting and showing you that someone is wiping out the software on my phone and disabling my phone whenever we talk about this man and I can't use it, and then if someone is listening to me saying that is someone offering a drink that they shouldn't, and then saying if you have a drink again, if you drink again, it'll be your last. How can I block that?
That's odd. That is odd. But because you're blocking him, his device, from being able to contact your device.
I'm
Whenever you
not. I
block
just don't
his,
understand the disconnect because it's impossible if someone is monitoring you,
I'm
listening to
pretty
you.
tech savvy. I'm pretty tech savvy. I was a newspaper publisher. Okay, simply block his number, block his email. All right, you start there. Now, once you do that,
I have a
if
brand
it
new device.
continues,
I do appreciate because I know that you have feedback, and then once you saw that death threat, you said that yeah, I do need to report it to the police. And then when you saw that
well,
actually someone was monitoring my calls, and then April informed
but
you of what
you've
you
never blocked him.
I don't
You've never
receive
blocked
calls
him.
from him. There's a disconnect. He's not calling me. It's a brand new phone that I'm informing you that I just got yesterday that's being hacked.
Since it's brand new, I mean, as soon as you got it connected, I mean, how would he even have your new phone's
I don't know
information?
how he's doing it. It's bizarre. I think that he has some pretty big connections. Why would the government allow someone to hack all my friends' devices and cause all this
Uh,
mayhem that nobody would ever believe? And you'd have to prove that it repeatedly keeps happening. So I have a group full of parties that I communicate with, devices being hacked, knowing that nobody would ever believe my story. And what concerns me is if they're hacking all these people's devices, and then the lady in this brand new environment that had the same experience that you did, and then the same experience that I had with April, now she won't talk to me on the phone. What else is being done behind the scenes is what concerns me because I have a lot of peculiar experiences. But I do appreciate your feedback. I do appreciate that. I just don't think that's a solution if on a brand new phone it's already being hacked that I just activated yesterday. I think that's evidence that someone is abusing too much power and I already probably had my information before I got it. I'm just trying to prove that, which is why I called the police. I believe that someone is influencing people in my environment. I think that this lady in this new environment may have experienced something that scared her, and now she won't communicate with me on the phone, period. But what's startling is all these people that are potentially being controlled won't tell me anything. How can they be friends and then over and over, year after year, person after person, and then let someone influence them and then not tell me about it? Nobody would ever believe that I've had control friendships. But I know that they have been controlled because when my abuser was mad, parties would lash out at me. Those are the things that I've never communicated with you. And you remember how April would start arguments? And then she said that I was. Remember that day, and you had to tell her about herself.
what? Remind me.
Someday, let me remember, think about it. She said that I was making fun of her or something. And you said, April, what are you talking about? Because she was just going in on me for no reason.
Oh, okay. I remember there was one day when I told her about herself, but I couldn't remember what that was about. Because remember, I had surgery. All right, I was not well. I don't remember. Um, I don't remember a lot of things.
Well, she was
Um,
started behaving peculiar, and she did that multiple different times. And I said, I'm glad you were a witness because she would start
yeah,
arguments too. I'm not saying that she was influenced by him, but she would, like that day that you witnessed, and you had to say she didn't do anything. But my kids also did that. It was bizarre that people would treat me that way. I have
yeah.
people in this new environment, like a lady was bringing me something, and then I gave her some money to go because she was going into town, and then she didn't wait for me to get out the way and came at with me with her car and almost hit me. And then we had weird experiences with a limeade and different other things. I just found it peculiar, you don't wait till someone get out the way and don't try to. I was so grateful that she got me the items from the store, but I mean, at least wait. I don't want to get killed.
Right.
Just strange, I just don't.
Yeah.
I can't.
But
I just wouldn't fathom that people would be controlled by someone that's not mentally stable and then not tell me about it.
all right, but Kay, it's not healthy to think that everything that happens is a result of this man manipulating um, everything
I just
because
don't
that's
understand how. What else
not
could it be if people are saying the same thing over and over? Why would it make sense for someone to offer pads when someone's fleeing for her life in a domestic violence crisis? Why would I have to repeatedly take the blame for misconduct and bad behavior? Why do I have to take the blame for April punishing me for with no reasoning until it was a witness available? The same party that witnessed all this stuff and it freaked her out. She thought I was an FBI agent, then had to leave
oh
us. And
April
then, but wait a
stupid.
minute. Then she
Okay,
had to leave us
uh, uh,
reporting her device was hacked and mine, and me reporting her abuser. She got freaked out and had to leave in the middle of it. You don't think that's peculiar?
I think there was something going on with the phones, but it was stemming from April's phone.
No, I don't. I think there's a
And
disconnect because April said that her phone was hacked from my phone. She said that.
April said,
Why would she lie? And
April's
then I'm communicating. Why
bullshit.
would two people tell you something? She said her phone behaved odd after we tried to go those pictures that we took at the beach. That's when she said her phone behaved
Well,
odd.
and it could be that that man that she was communicating with, posting on,
No,
he could have
I don't
had
know why so many
a
parties try to cover for this man all over the
oh,
place.
ooh,
April told
he could
you.
have.
April told
Please,
you
it's just
herself.
exhausting. It's exhausting because he probably had a virus on his phone
April
and
told you he never.
shared it.
It wasn't his phone was hacked and April's phone.
Right. And it very well could have been. He
April
probably had a
said out her
virus.
own mouth and told the police department that her phone, my abuser, was hacking my phone and hers too. He went outside with Midco staff, told them not to help me, and they did not help me again. You saw death threats where it showed that someone was listening to what I was saying on my device. And the police department saw it. Armies full of people saw it. So not only was it wasn't the had April's phone was hacked before this man's phone incident. My phone got
And
hacked.
every
April did not believe that my phone was hacked. Then she saw that my phone was hacked, and then not only was my phone hacked, hers got hacked, and the other male that took pictures of us and wasn't supposed to. So some kind of way I don't know what he has going on in his personal life. He got mad because some kind of way his pictures got posted to Facebook without his permission. I'm in hiding.
okay.
So I'm just not quite certain on why so many. April said out her own mouth, so it's a misconception that this man caused it. No, I caused it, and I'm not quite certain on why armies full of people, the police, mid coast, April knew it, and armies full of other people don't know it. If I'm on the phone with the police this morning telling you that I'm reporting this man and my device being hacked, why would you think April did it?
Okay. I don't think April did it. I think that man probably he could have downloaded
I just
anything
not
and
like quite certain on if April told you,
else.
and if I'm telling you that the glitches started with me. And then at first she did not believe that it was possible for this man to hack my device. And then she said I'm paranoid. Then every army full of other devices were hacked that are associated with me. I'm just not quite sure why this is a repeated disconnect. April's
Because
device
I
was
never
not.
had a problem with you. I called you,
But
and
I
you
told
call me
you, I
back.
repeatedly tell you, I
No,
don't get your text. You know that. You said all the time you just call me. April had to do the same thing. She said she had been calling me all morning. I didn't get it. I don't
okay.
get your text most of
Well,
the time. I've
that's
already communicated
that's
that
a
with you.
phone
Remember?
issue or a network issue. That's not a hacker issue, because excuse me, I called you,
There's other
and
friends that there's other
when
friends
you
before
call,
this one. There's other
it
friends before this one that have. I had to just go look for them because it's a repeated pattern. I had to report it and record it to the police. How I send people text messages, they weren't getting them, and then sometimes they get them 3 or 4 hours later. It's not an isolated incident. So it's just chaos and mayhem. It's not that this man, it's that my devices are hacked, which is why I was on the phone with the police department when you called. And
and
everyone around me just can't seem to understand that I'm being hacked. And then not only, I'm
every
glad.
every time you've gone to the police, I'm quite sure they ask the question, "Have you tried to block him?"
But I mean, if how do you block someone that shouldn't even have your information on a brand new
Just
device?
just do it. Just block his number,
So let me
block
make
his
sure I
email.
understand. On a phone that you have no calls on, period.
Don't call.
So
Right,
I'm just trying to make sure I have clarity. On a
immediately.
phone that you have no calls on, brand new spanking phone that you've done nothing with, but you trying to record something and do some different things on your phone, use data and different things that you have no affiliation with anything. How do you block something? And in fact, you know what? Before when this first got started, I had a phone that I didn't do anything. Hadn't hooked it up to Facebook, anything. Then I got something flash on my screen to bury a friend, and I didn't do anything to my phone. It was brand spanking new. So I called the police and Rockwall police, and they never investigated it. But I'm not quite certain on the mind, the conception of block something that you can't. It's like you can't block anything. How do you block something on a device that brand spanking new?
Because you still have access to your email. If you
It
say
was
you,
brand spanking new. It
um,
didn't have that on that yet. I didn't have all that hooked up. I'm really not being heard. I didn't have
okay,
Facebook. It was brand spanking new. All I did, I don't even think that I really placed calls outside the police department to any acquaintances or anything. And then even in fact in the store in Walmart, I couldn't use my device. I was trying to activate a phone after AT&T disconnected my phone in corruption, and I could not activate my phone. So I had to go to Straight Talk and try to get another phone, and they couldn't activate the phone. So I was in the store like an hour, and then Vivid Images came up, and I showed a lot of people, and I said, "Do you see that right now?" And I don't know if I tried to record it. They lied and said they didn't see Vivid Images, which is the abuser's business. So I flagged down another man, and I said, "Do you see this?" He said, "Yeah, it says Vivid Images." So I'm not quite certain why a line full of bizarre people and the store representative would cover for this man's information coming up on my phone in the search, and I didn't put it there. So I mean,
okay.
I understand. I know that you are tech savvy, but that would be incorrect to try to block something that you can't block. You can't block someone hacking your device. He's illegally monitoring me and hacking other friends' devices. And the responsibility is not on my part. Responsibility is on law enforcement for covering for him. And then I want, April is telling you, as well as the police and multiple other parties, that this man has hacked my device and acquaintances around us. and then freaked her out and scared her to where she had to leave. Then demanded to speak to Mid Coast alone, and then they denied me of all assistance. And then tried to demand that I delete my email and get another one. And I said, no, why would she recommend that? She said that I'm putting other parties at risk by getting these death threats. What's her name? I can't think of her name. The head over Midcoast?
Who at Midcoast?
Yeah, the head. What was her name?
Oh, Jill?
No, the other one.
I don't know.
So I said that if you demand that I delete my email, which is bizarre, that's tampering with evidence, and then she left me alone. So I just don't really understand why so many parties try to get off in my personal business. I told her that I had a phone come up there missing. Then remember those rings I had?
Rings?
The rings that I used to wear?
Jewelry, yeah.
Those came up missing. Maybe. And they're not even expensive. So I told her about the rings, and then she tried to distract and deflect. I've had staff steal rings from me. Phones. So she didn't want to talk about the phone and distracted and talked about something else and looked surprised that I communicated with her that my phone was missing. Well, that was a pivotal experience because I don't know if I told you that they were trying to put a case on me on dismissed charges.
On what?
A case. I had a case that sent out texted to me on charges that were dismissed when I was in jail on false charges. So my phone came up missing. I know for a fact where I left my phone. And it came up missing from Midcoast.
Oh. Okay. Did you have a new roommate or something?
No, I don't think that I don't know what was going on, but the Midcoast didn't want to talk about it, and they said that they wouldn't review the camera footage for other thefts. But they did it for other parties, but this has been a pattern. I don't know why they would trap me into thefts. Other environments, it appeared that staff was stealing from me. I don't know why they would cover for my theft and say that they can't review the camera footage.
Why? I can't see any staff at Midcoast stealing from me.
I'm not saying that. I don't know what happened. All I know is that my phone came up missing, and I'm not quite certain on why they didn't want to review the camera footage. Then in addition to that, deprived me of makeup. And then when I escalated and said, why does this woman deny me? I had needed some kind of hygiene product. And they have that big closet. And I said, oh, there's makeup there. She said she started panicking and said, no, I can't give it to you. I said, what? And then I went to go talk to the lady up front. And I said, why would she deny me the right to have makeup? Because I got put out of Austin Street for putting on makeup. I find that peculiar. So she's panicking because I'm asking for this makeup. Anyone that would do law enforcement would see the insanity I have to endure. So I said I feel violated for her trying to control me, trying to get this makeup that's here for everyone. So the other lady says, oh, you can have makeup. I'll come give it to you. I said, well, why would she treat me like this? If we're already there, why would she panic and deprive me of the right to have the makeup there for all the women here that requested? So they couldn't elaborate on what would provoked her to panic because I asked for makeup. I said that I find that very suspicious that this woman panicked and walked off when I was asking for this makeup that's available to other women, and another location put me out for putting on makeup. But yeah, so I'm still working on this, thank you for your insight. But the army's full of people have this term and they just appear to be covering for this man. Because they want to blame everything else and then not say that it's me being hacked and then other parties around me being hacked. It's peculiar. But April told you out her own mouth that her phone was hacked when she sent me the pictures. And she told you the same thing that happened with her phone. Each time we tried to talk, we kept being put on hold, both of our phones. She told it to the police.
Right.
He covered for it. I told her about my abuser and the death threats. He covered for that and told the staff to not help me and deprive me of assistance. So you're mistaken. Not only did her phone get hacked, but this other man's phone got hacked. And the new lady over here's phone is hacked.
When's the last time he sent you a message?
Excuse me, hold on. After he incriminated himself, he don't send me messages. He sends them through other people. But that's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is all this mayhem of everybody around me being hacked, and I'm